Apologies.
So apologies from Councillor Lineker.
Yep, indeed. I should have said, are we recording? We are recording, aren't we? Yes, sorry, I should have said, welcome to a strategic planning meeting today, 1st of February. Town Con. Right, any declarations of interest?
Yes. I declare a personal non-pecuniary interest as a district councillor in the item on the local plan.
Right, so presumably I've got to the same.
I would suggest so.
Fine, I'll do the same.
Okay.
I'll vote. I've got no interest.
No interest at all. Right, no planning applications pending. Anything you'd like to discuss?
I think so.
No. Chairman's report. Anything?
No, I haven't got anything there, Chair, to add to that one.
Public questions in accordance with standing orders. Have you got any?
No public questions?
No, good. Right, are you all happy now? Simon minutes. My apologies for jumping the gun a bit. Right, over to you, Carl.
Well, thank you. So this item, which is looking at the St Albans local plan, we've obviously got the opportunity to comment on the consultation that they've got out, which is running through to the 21st of February, which is largely based on this survey, which they've sent around. I've put together a draft response, which I've circulated, which is broadly along the headings that are set out within their survey itself. But it isn't taking the opportunity to indicate which smiley or which end of the smiley face we'd be putting on. It's just a content.
Yeah.
It's just a content and narrative on there. It's worth just saying that what I've sent around here is based on the largely based on the areas that have been approved through the neighbourhood plan through the town council. So the content of that does reflect the neighbourhood plan in many respects.
Any comments?
Well, I can't support it, so but it's irrespective for me, isn't it? Because I'll be voted.
So you can't support what our neighbourhood plan or this?
Well, both actually.
Okay. Do you want to qualify that anyway?
For what it's worth, yeah, there's a large chunk of greenbelt land going to be identified in Batford, and therefore I don't consider that it's a sustainable location for that amount of growth, considering that for one thing that it's going to be accessed by below Luton Road, which we know already is heavily congested, and judging by the way the school application is being handled, the way that the Highways Authority seems to go about ensuring that the speed of traffic or the amount of traffic travelling on that road is to remove all the highway pedestrian safety mitigation that was put in initially. So I have no confidence and faith in the fact that that's a sustainable location. So, and really and truly that's embedded within the whole of the housing strategy that we've adopted. We've only highlighted 106 houses within the local plan period. Quite woeful, really. So most of the housing provision is going to be from greenbelt development, isn't it?
So, Chair,
Sorry.
Can I just clarify what you're being asked to do today is comment on the consultation that the local plan have got out at the moment, which isn't around detailed proposals of sites or anything.
Yeah, I know, but like...
So what you'll need to get to today is a town council's response to that consultation.
Okay, right then, well I don't
which is
agree
based
with...
on the headings that are set out.
The built-up area of Harpenden is the priority for new development in the neighbourhood plan area. In the event that St Albans City and District Council releases land in agreement with greenbelt adjacent to the current built-up area boundary of Harpenden for residential development in a future local plan, that land is considered by this policy to be within the built-up area boundary of Harpenden. So I can't support that.
Fine.
We've also, I'll start carrying, well, you're reading through. We've also got a revision to the NPPF coming out very shortly, which is going to have a more pragmatic approach to assessing housing need within the district, or within districts generally. So that might be quite interesting, really. What happens if we don't have to provide, as much as... Don't know what, in actual fact, I've looked through the document, I can't find out what the objectively assessed housing need is for the district or for Harpenden, so it sort of puts us on the back foot. I can't find the evidence base. Is there any evidence base attached to this document that we've referred to? So those are the kind of things that I don't feel confident really in supporting our letter.
No.
End of.
Well, I mean, we're really only looking at our response to this, and I mean, yes, if there is subsequent guidance or different legislation, whatever comes out of the government, then presumably it will have to be adjusted to reflect
Yes,
that.
I'm sure so. I don't know
At
whether...
this level of consultation, I mean, at the moment, the call for sites is still out, so there is no actual, at this stage, there is no absolute certainty on where those sites are going to be, because the call for sites is still out.
Yeah, so Chair, presumably if through the call for sites process, the District Council will identify a number of sites, and then subsequently there's a housing target that's lower than the number they've been working to, then obviously they get the opportunity to select fewer sites or fewer houses across those sites. And again, that's not what we're really discussing here today. I think if there's a objection with elements of the draft response, I think it would be useful to put forward what an alternative would be under each of the headings for the group to then discuss. I think that would probably be a useful way forward and try and get us to a place where we have a response.
Indeed. I mean, the figure that we were given us by central government, which district's been working on, even I wasn't quite au fait with how to do the calculations. But having said that, it's a similar amount of houses being demanded for all the communities around us, whether it be Hemel Watford, they've all been given similar.
They could go down. They could go down. They could also go up.
Well, they could do, yes.
Yeah.
As you
I'm
said.
just thinking, for the sake of a couple more, the NPPF is going to be reviewed. They're saying that it's going to be produced in the spring of this year. Anyway, that doesn't help us now.
No, that's...
So according to this plan, which is the yellow mark around the area where is the Porters Hill Play Park, it includes by Green Acres. If that's going to be the urban boundary of Harpenden, I just can't support it, because it's just going to be bedlam on the Lower Luton Road.
Well, similar comments about Luton Road, so...
Well, exactly, but,
So
that's an A road, this is a B road.
if you try to get to St Albans this morning, along Sandwich Road, a similar problem, that's a B
absolutely.
road.
So why would we be supporting the redefining of the green
Well,
belt
I'm saying every road in the district is similar at the moment. Please, it's fine.
Well, I was going to say, it's difficult. I mean, I don't suppose any of us want to sit pragmatically, wherever it is around the town, unless there is a huge sea change in what the government requires us to do, not just here, but across the district. It is inevitable green belt is going to be built on. As indeed was Backford originally after the war, when it was built on green belt.
I'm not opposed to...
81% of Hertfordshire is green belt, if I remember rightly.
And at the moment, although I think it was clear that, those sites, they have put those on as potential sites, but it is not, at this stage, not necessarily cast in stone, because the call for sites is still out there.
It could be more.
Well, yes, we don't know what's coming.
So that's why I'm feeling a bit, these are the ones we're being consulted on in yellow. That's all. Any windfall sites, those are the areas of interest where the housing growth is going to go. Now, we already know that there's going to be a school site just to the where is it? Trying to find it now. Yeah, just along the lower, just to the southeast of there.
And if they build on the common,
So
Bluefield Road site, there'll be a junior school or infant school built on that site.
Oh yeah, it's just a coalescence argument again. You know, I'm not going to bore you with my arguments about this, but I feel very strongly about coalescence between towns and villages.
So Chair, in terms of our response then to the consultation, obviously the consultation, they want the responses based on these headings and there's certain questions that are set out. So you touched on Councillor James building homes in the right place and that you've got a problem with your draft response on that element. Is there any other elements of that first section that you're okay with or not okay with? Because essentially if it comes to it that councillors Farmer and Heritage are okay with it, then it would go to a vote in a normal way and that part of the response would stay in or an alternative put forward. Perhaps it's worth working through it.
The second section, planning applications for new development proposals outside the built-up area boundary. Yeah, I go with that's how it is at the moment. It's just that the first paragraph, I'm a bit, we're just opening the door here. You know, as Rosemary said, the call for sites hasn't finished yet. So what happens if more fields are being allocated, and that means that they're going to be subsumed into the urban frame of Harpenden, the built-up area boundary of Harpenden, and you know this is going to be a document that's going to be around for a long time. Our local plan, our neighbourhood plan, is, and it's almost saying, yeah, we don't mind. If that's what we're saying.
So Chair, that's not what that element of the neighbourhood plan is saying. What that is saying is that should at a higher level or at another level sites in the Greenbelt be approved, then they would then become part of the Harpenden built up boundary. Of course, what the Town Council will have an opportunity to do at the next point of consultation is comment specifically on sites that are put forward once we know what they are and what the District Council's views are. So we'll have an opportunity at that site to decide what the Town Council thinks of specific sites, but this is just saying that if and when a site is decided, then it would become part of the boundary. I mean, in terms that particular section is approved through the neighbourhood plan by the Town Council, so you know,
that brings me back to the beginning.
So I mean that's in the plan that is now going forward for examination.
I mean, on that plan, we have no power to pick sites that other than brownfield sites that we can, or indeed protecting the employment sites.
And this consultation is not actually about specific sites.
it's not.
No,
It is, because this is what they're saying.
No,
they're not asking questions about
that's not what
specific
they're
sites.
saying.
They're saying this is based on the existing evidence base on the local plan, the sites that were put forward in that. The specific questions are more shaping questions that residents have been asked.
This consultation isn't actually about actual sites.
So it's more about themes and priorities rather than specific sites.
Agreed, but
Which will come forward at this committee at the appropriate time in the cycle.
are we happy with saying that, you know, whatever Greenbelt land is released by the district, that we're happy that development goes there? Is that what we're signing up to?
Well, we're signing up to something that we will have no choice in.
Well, government will either force on us.
It'll either force it
Well,
on us.
rather they force it on us than, you know...
Well, do they get double the amount?
Well, we don't know that. As I was saying, we don't know, Rosemary. We don't know because, as I was saying, we've got a review of the the NPPF, and it might change the whole way.
Well, if that does, but then if the NPPF changes it, then the local plan will change anyway because it's not finished yet.
Exactly.
So I don't see quite, I'll see it perhaps differently, I don't quite see what the problem is.
No, at the moment, I think, aren't we being asked to comment on the procedure without any finite areas?
We're not being asked to comment on any policies.
No, it's just the procedure, what we're going to have to go through to meet the demands for
Yeah, Chair, it's more around direction. What they're asking at the moment is around direction for thinking rather than specific
There are no
sites
specific,
or
they're not
policies.
specific sites or any policies.
No, but it's the process, isn't it? You know, if we're saying that, okay, any greenbelt land that's been deselected from the greenbelt, we're quite happy for development to go in there.
Well,
We'll say that it's the urban area, that's going to be the urban boundary of Harpenden.
But
You know,
I
when you
think-
look at the drawing, we seem to have quite a lion's share. Redbourne doesn't have anything, but it might have in the future. You know, if we're just going to lay down straight away,
Redbourne has a very, well, it's not there, actually Redbourne has a
well, look,
much more.
Redbourne has nothing around it. Obviously, you know, on the boundary of Hemel, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wheathampstead is being left alone. Hemel's being left alone. I mean, Redbourne's being left alone. Cricket Wood, Howe Green. It just seems that Harpenden are being targeted. If you don't want to stand and fight, that's up to you entirely, but I do.
Chair, can I just clarify again? This section in this particular part of the response has been approved by the Town Council, so
Yeah.
you might not want to include it in our response, but it is something that the Town Council has agreed a position on. So that isn't up for discussion today, the Town Council's position on that.
No,
So
absolutely. But
councillors,
that's what
members
led
of
me
the public
to
have had the
this section.
opportunity to do that.
I don't, you know, I think myself I would remove the whole section on the first paragraph and just go,
But this was approved at the council earlier on this week, wasn't it? As part of the neighbourhood plan.
Yeah, that wording is,
That wording, so it was all approved,
Yeah.
unanimous. You know, I'm sorry you weren't here to
well,
put
no,
an
it wouldn't
opposition
have made
view on.
it wouldn't have made any difference. We know that, David. You know that you're being dictated to by central government, by Hertfordshire County Council, by the district council. You know that you're going to accept this.
So
There's going to be no. There's going to be no
we can only put up
argument.
we
Don't take any notice of what I say because you've discussed it all beforehand, and that's how it's going to be. So all I'm saying is I've been given an opportunity to air my views,
right, fine.
and you can note them, move on.
Right, views have been noted.
Okay.
We'll move on. Right.
So then, do you want to go
Yeah.
into the next section?
Yes, please, yeah.
So the next one is build the right kind of homes.
Okay. Right. Any comments? Councillor James, want to make any comments on
I'm
that?
just
or you
reading it. Sorry, David.
Pardon?
I'm just reading it, David.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I thought you read it
No,
already.
I'm not. You know. No, I've got no problem with that.
No,
That's awesome. So you're happy with that?
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you.
Provide local jobs. We know we
Yeah, it should be.
we know on the neighbourhood plan we identified the employment areas that we're protecting, not to be replaced by flats or anything else. The 4 areas listed, we did add on bits to it, other thoughts. We did then come to another heading, if there's something everybody wants to talk about under local jobs.
No, I've got nothing.
no, that's fine.
Protect Greenbelt, we've got that under another heading. Which was at the beginning, wasn't it? So
It was, yeah, that's the first
beginning, yeah,
section.
the beginning, yeah, that's right, yeah. Protect our historic buildings, wildlife sites and areas of natural beauty.
Now I've got no comments.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's come up with suggesting the common as a site.
Yeah, that looks, that's
I mean,
okay.
as well as a significant number of listed buildings, obviously we have a conservation area which we're still fighting to try and protect against developers, but that's another story.
Yes, well then that's useful to put in local character and heritage to strengthen.
Yeah, I think that's what I mentioned on the next page. Yeah, the conservation area is one of the largest in the country. It covers much of Harpenden. Yeah. Anything on that section?
No, that's fine.
Councillor James, no?
No, I think-
And then, last but not least, get the transport, schools, and other infrastructure we need.
Just on that one, Chair,
Sorry.
just worth adding I think it's the penultimate paragraph. This isn't something that's in the neighbourhood plan as such, but this reflects around the kind of the management and ownership of community facilities when they come forward in developments. So the comments are put there around ensuring that they're owned and managed at a local level. And that does come from experience elsewhere, and not least in my own area where I live, where there's it's around about 10 years old, my development. There's play areas that are around community facilities that never got transferred over from the developer, so they've never been invested in, and they're in disrepair and they're closing. So it seems to be an issue that happens in some areas, that there's not that proper ownership of these facilities when they are developed.
We have that on the Cross Farm estate at the moment, where when it was built, the designated green areas in the middle put equipment on, but it's never been adopted by district, like painted, so therefore when it needed replacing, that's what the South Play Area group, whatever they're called, having to raise money to replace the equipment, because although it's there, it's not been adopted as such.
Yeah, that's the exact example I'm familiar with.
Need to be a bit tighter with any kind of major development in who's responsible for it.
Particularly, yes, on roads, because my understanding is that increasingly, you know better than I would have, but increasingly we have, housing estates developed, the roads remain unadopted.
Yeah. And if there's no...
It all depends whether they're adoptable standards. The Highways Authority, would, if they are adoptable standards, they would have to.
But my understanding, but my understanding is that there is a trend towards...
Well, I suppose the Highways Authority are broke, aren't they?
I think nationally there's not just here, but there is more of a trend, I think, to get up towards estates having unadopted roads.
It's often put into management companies now, so you have to sign up part of the Section 106.
Yes.
So it's all to do
So they cover it that way.
These mistakes hopefully are being rectified in perpetuity, but again, people go out of business and...
well, that's what happened with the Cross Farm estate. The
so
builder went kaput, and therefore the maintenance fund that had been set up was all...
planning can only do so much. It can't sort of ensure that, someone's still going to be... However,
crystal ball out.
Exactly.
So, any other comments on the last page? So. I mean, I'm happy with that response in that respect. I realise Councillor James won't be, but
Well,
we have to respond in some way. And I think to respond, I dare say, negatively towards it would not help our, you know, our case of fighting our corner with district in that respect. And I think certainly, I dare say, with my district hat on, we've been told quite clearly that major planning decisions are taken by government and then district. So, you know, we have an influence, but not a very big influence, as you know.
Has to start somewhere though, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Has to try and start somewhere though, doesn't it?
Well, indeed, but obviously...
I remember in 2007 we were against what they were proposing because it was a Labour government. So, you know, and you fought, you know, hammer and tong for it, but you know, that's just politics. I know that. I accept that. You know, I'm not arguing there, but you know, of course there's step changes in the way you feel. You know, that's, you know, I'm
14 months
not
time,
naive.
weren't they?
Exactly. So
they'll either...
you can appreciate where I'm standing. I'm no political party, so I'm going to support my, you know, community.
No. It's you know, from my side of the fence, I think it's sad that you or your other party member weren't here at the full council to make your comments be known.
But how many times?
In front of the public on whatever night it was, Monday, Tuesday night. But that's your decision.
Chair, just for formalities, I apologise, but just for record, can we just get you to vote on this response as it's set out here, just formally?
Indeed.
Just so I've got that noted. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy
Yes,
with the way it's been set out. Two of us are, and obviously Councillor James. He's not happy. I understand. To respond in the way, no one group of people is ever going to be happy. So, you know. So now we're on to Central Bedfordshire.
Yeah, Chair, so Central Beds have also got a consultation out at the moment, which is actually probably one stage further than the St Albans one. I circulated what our response was last time. Essentially, the changes that they've come back with, having listened to the first consultation, the major changes are they're now suggesting up to 20,000 houses as opposed to 20 to 30,000. That is on top of the already 23,000 that was already agreed through planning and already got permissions. Major big changes is that there won't be a market town at Tempsford and there won't be the large settlement to the west of Luton, but otherwise it remains as it was. The closest impact to us is around the North Luton, which we talked about last time, particularly in relation to transport, where there's 4,000 dwellings suggested to go in up there and around 24,000 jobs in that area and slightly north. So I think our comments previously about transport, particularly on the rail networks, is still apt. The absolute closest impact to us is a small development in Caddington. So that is the closest village development that's been put forward in the local plan. So again, we've got the opportunity to reiterate some of the comments we made before or add some new things in.
Sorry.
No, on page 1, just as a tidy up background, the last paragraph, I think you need to amend that because the consultation's closed.
Oh yes, yeah. So this isn't a suggested submission. This is just
the draft,
reiterating the comments
we
made last time.
Change that.
And it's kind of it wouldn't go in this format.
Being nitpicky, so that's okay.
The paragraphs aren't necessarily relevant anymore either.
No.
This was based on the previous one. But what I'm asking you to comment on is the principles behind spatial strategy, the transport comments, the infrastructure comments, and we'll reiterate those views as we have done last time.
So there's no suggestion of doing anything further up Luton Road between Luton Road and the motorway spur at the moment then?
Nothing in the plan.
No. Sorry, that's fine.
When talking about increased pressures on the rail network, I think it would make sense to add in there as well reference to the potential increase in passenger numbers for Luton Airport. which again puts further pressure on the railway.
And obviously, any development to the north of the river would make the chance of Harpenden residents or St Albans residents indeed of getting a seat on the train. They're going to arrive full from Flitwick, Harlington, Luton.
Or even worse, trying to
and
get the train
indeed towards Bedford. It's going to make it. You have to get to Thameslink to start off the trains in Parkway or something. Have to get a seat, but I think that could be a.
I think the railway is a very real issue given their policy of developing houses along the railway. Well, I can see why, but I think it's going to make huge pressures on that rail network.
Chair, on this one, what you've been asked to do is just to approve myself reiterating the detailed comments we made last time on the last page of the local plan. If you're happy for me to do that.
Yeah, no, indeed.
Subject, if you could make it.
Farmers.
Yes, I'm just looking to see if there's any. Yes, I would say just to, I think, yes, banging on the head with that one. And I think, yes.
Any other comments from?
No, I read it the first time.
On Bedfordshire?
I read it the first time round.
I think it's the only one that I think. Yeah.
At least we have got development. They haven't added development along the road to. So, are you in your hands to
Sure.
get that up? Any exempt business? Anything else
No,
to mention?
No, that's it.
That's it, Chair.
Discuss? Anything else would like to raise?
No, nothing at all.
Okay, thanks for coming. Apologies for being late.